Give a toy at the Navy Federal Credit Union headquarters in Vienna.
Good morning, America. Brutal Arctic blast. A Thanksgiving deep freeze on the way. Record cold heading for the Northeast. And a 3-day downpour out west. As tens of millions hit the roads. And what the military is doing in the sky to help millions of flyers get home for the holiday.
The stunning new report saying President Trump wanted to order the Justice Department to investigate Hillary Clinton and former FBI Director James Comey, as the president announces he's standing with Saudi Arabia despite the brutal murder of that journalist.
Mansion fire mystery. 4 members of one family found dead after this home goes up in flames in an exclusive New Jersey neighborhood. The investigation right now.
The CDC's urgent alert this morning about romaine lettuce, warning all Americans not to eat it. The E. coli outbreak that has dozens already sick across the country.
First on GMA, Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, 2 of the greatest, in a winner-take-all $9 million 18-hole showdown. What Tiger is now saying about his huge comebacks and this epic rivalry, only on GMA this morning.
In a holiday shopping alert, the Black Friday bonanza already underway, the high-tech TV that may finally be affordable for everyone. Why experts say the clock is truly running out if you want to grab the best deals.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
We do say good morning, America. A lot of excitement for Michael's birthday. As well as excitement for the holiday.
Thank you.
Happy
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
yes.
Birthday,
thank you very much. I appreciate it. Everybody around here couldn't be better.
Because it's Happy Thanksgiving Eve as well, and the rush is already underway. Take a look at the gridlock. This is what you're heading to overnight in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm heading to, Robin. Thank you. Happy birthday to me. And this morning as well, they're already hitting the roads in Atlanta. You see there, so many are on their way. And the airports also are busy. Millions expected to fly today, and you're looking live at O'Hare in Chicago.
And here in the Northeast, millions of Americans bracing for that Arctic blast. Could come on Thanksgiving, could be the coldest one on record for the Northeast. Ginger's tracking that. Good morning, Ginger.
Oh, good morning to you. It's 36 this morning, and people were saying, oh, you're dressed like you're in a Hallmark movie. That's the type of dress you can do on this morning. Shave off 20 degrees, and tomorrow morning, I'll be dressed like I am climbing Mount Everest. That's the difference. We're talking about a huge drop in temperatures, and it's coming tonight with this Arctic front. The numbers will bring you to 4 below the feels like in Boston tomorrow. 15 below the feels like in Burlington. They could end up with their coldest Thanksgiving on record. So could we in Providence and Philadelphia, which will feel like 11 tomorrow morning. Just to give you some perspective here, all of the cities you see listed with their highs, not even going to make it to freezing tomorrow. How do you kind of compare that to what it's like usually? This is colder than it's usually, on average, in January. Just to give you an idea of where we're at, Robin. Oh, that cold.
It is that cold, the bitter cold. Thank you, Ginger. It's doing little, though, to slow down the storm of holiday travelers. Airports are bracing for what could be the busiest Thanksgiving ever. Let's take a look at the flight tracker, and you can see how busy they already are this morning. Look at that. And now we are learning that the military is opening up some of its restricted airspace so commercial flights can get through. Our senior transportation correspondent, David Curley, is at Reagan National outside of D.C. with the latest. Good morning, David.
Morning, Robin. Pace is really picking up. You can see this American jet, one of them that spent the night, is being towed to a gate. You can see the line of jets getting ready to take off here. It's going to be a very busy day, and you can feel it. Now, we're normally used to snow and ice on this travel weekend, but it was fog in Seattle that caused a problem. 3-hour delays for part of the day. If you are flying today, you are one of nearly 3 million flyers, if you can believe that number, which could be a record, actually, 6% over last year. The airlines, to deal with that, have added 158,000 seats by bringing in bigger planes than the ones that they would normally use. Getting you through security, TSA has added 1,200 officers, 80 K-9 units to try and get you through. Now, Robin, I talked to the airlines. They say they're in pretty good shape. They think it's going to be pretty good traveling, even though we may set a record, Robin.
Okay, and so if you do set this record, that's going to be a lot of passengers. Does that mean that the probability of getting bumped will increase as well?
Not really, and because no airline wants a passenger not to get home for the holidays, so they don't overbook as much during these holidays. And as you mentioned, move the planes a little quicker. They've opened up some of the airspace off the East Coast here that is for the military so that the commercials can come through, Robin.
All sounds good. Okay, David, thanks so much. Michael.
All right, thank you, Robin. Now to the race to get home on the road. Take a live look at the New York State Transportation Command Center, where they're monitoring major highways. More than 48 million people are expected to drive over the Thanksgiving holiday. And we're going to go to John Del Giorno, the chopper reporter for our New York station, WABC, who's getting a view from the sky. And John, how is today different from the usual Wednesday morning rush hour?
And Michael, one of the good things we've got helping us this morning is the weather. We've got this beautiful view of New York City, and we are sitting up over the George Washington Bridge. This morning commute so far this morning is going pretty well. You can see the bridge is slow, but it is moving along. In fact, the rush hour in New York City this morning, I would say, maybe a tad bit lighter than normal because people will cyber commute with the holiday tomorrow. However, that big rush hour is going to kick in this afternoon. As the evening rush hour combines with the holiday getaway, you'll see big delays around New York City at your major choke points, like right here at the George Washington Bridge, at the tunnels and along the I-95 corridor. The big note, expect that commute to begin early. That getaway, you can expect to see big gridlock conditions beginning as early as 2 o'clock this afternoon. We're live over the George Washington Bridge. Michael, back down to you.
All right, John, thank you so much. Nothing says holiday like gridlock. George?
We are going to be hunkered down. We're going to the White House now and the latest on the Mueller investigation after a stunning New York Times report that President Trump wanted to order the Justice Department to prosecute Hillary Clinton and former FBI Director James Comey, but apparently backed off after his White House counsel warned him that could lead to impeachment. Our chief White House correspondent John Carl has the story. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. Of course, the chant "lock her up" has long been a fixture of Trump political rallies. Now this New York Times report says that the president actually wanted his Justice Department to make it happen. The president told the top lawyer in the White House that he wanted the Justice Department to prosecute Hillary Clinton and former FBI Director James Comey, according to the Times report. That's something Trump vowed to do during the height of the 2016 campaign.
If I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
And more recently, he's talked about going after Comey, who he fired in May of 2017.
What he did was horrible. Should he be locked up? Let somebody make a determination.
The Times reports that White House counsel Don McGahn scuttled the president's request to prosecute Clinton and Comey. Instead, McGahn had the White House legal team write a memo warning that prosecuting political enemies could have grave consequences for the president, possibly including impeachment for abuse of power. These revelations come as President Trump is already under attack from Democrats for the forced resignation of Jeff Sessions as Attorney General and the appointment of Matt Whitaker, who has expressed serious skepticism of the Mueller investigation. The White House has had no comment on the Times report, and a lawyer for Don McGahn said that he would not comment on the advice he offered the president, although McGahn's lawyer noted that the president never actually went forward with this, saying Mr. McGahn would point out that the president never, to his knowledge, actually ordered anyone to prosecute Hillary Clinton or James Comey. George?
So no comment from the White House on that, but the White House has submitted those answers from President Trump to the questions from Special Counsel Robert Mueller. We're learning a bit more about the questions as well.
Yeah, they've answered at least some of the questions, George, and submitted those according to the White House the president's legal team. What we know is that the questions that they answered were regarding collusion between the campaign and the Russians, but nothing about the president's activities after he became president, and nothing on the critical question of obstruction of justice.
John Carl, thanks very much. Robin?
And George, now more on President Trump and that decision to stand firmly with Saudi Arabia despite the murder of Washington Post writer Jamal Khashoggi. The murder that the CIA reportedly believes was carried out with the approval of the Saudi Crown Prince. Our senior foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, is here with us and has more. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. It's 11 weeks since Jamal Khashoggi was murdered, and the fact that we and the president are still discussing it shows just how deep this crisis that it sparked still is. There have always been fears that America's relationship and trade with the Saudis might top human rights. The president now making clear where he stands. This morning, President Trump standing firmly with Saudi Arabia.
If we abandon Saudi Arabia, it would be a terrible mistake.
Saying this about the Saudi Crown Prince's alleged involvement in the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
The CIA has looked at it. They've studied it a lot. They have nothing definitive. And the fact is, maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
The president echoing a remarkable exclamation-filled written statement released earlier in the day, in which he wrote, "The world is a very dangerous place, and it could very well be that the Crown Prince had knowledge of this tragic event. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't." This in spite of the Washington Post report that the CIA had concluded that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman himself ordered Jamal Khashoggi's killing. Officials say Khashoggi, who was last seen alive walking into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, was assassinated by a Saudi hit squad. Khashoggi's killers reportedly carried syringes, electroshock devices and a cutting blade as they departed Istanbul. There's also an audio recording of Khashoggi's execution. The president said he didn't want to hear it.
It's a suffering tape. It's a terrible tape. I've been fully briefed on it. There's no reason for me to hear it.
The president said the Crown Prince assured him repeatedly he wasn't involved. And while Trump's statement called the crime a terrible one that our country does not condone, he insists he will not jeopardize America's relationship with the Saudis.
I'm not going to destroy the world economy, and I'm not going to destroy the economy for our country by being foolish with Saudi Arabia. If we broke with them, I think your oil prices would go through the roof.
Well, overnight Republican and Democratic senators sending a letter demanding that President Trump investigate human rights violations.
Yeah, this is not over yet. Ian, thanks very much.
Great to have you here with us, Ian.
Good to be here. Yes, it is. And we're going to turn now to that E. coli outbreak alert. As millions prepare their Thanksgiving meal, the CDC is saying don't eat any romaine lettuce. Our GMA weekend anchor, Eva Pilgrim, is here with the details. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Michael. There's an urgent warning this morning against a popular salad ingredient. Just as millions of Americans are preparing for one of the biggest meals of the year, the Centers for Disease Control issuing a new advisory telling people not to eat any romaine lettuce. This after 32 people have been infected across 11 states. 13 people are now in the hospital. The CDC calling for stores and restaurants to actually stop selling the lettuce, and health officials also saying if you have romaine in your fridge, even if someone has eaten it and not gotten sick, still throw it away. That applies to all types of romaine, heads, hearts, pre-cut lettuce, salad mixes. So no baby romaine, spring mix, and unfortunately, no Caesar salad as well, Michael.
I ordered a Caesar salad last night. I didn't. But this is just an alert. It's not a recall. So why not just recall?
Well, they don't know the source of the contaminated lettuce, so they're just telling people don't eat the lettuce at all right now.
All right, better safe than sorry. All right, thank you, Eva. George.
We got our fridge emptied out last night. We're going to go to Wall Street right now, coming off a drop of more than 500 points on Tuesday. The latest in a string of down days that have wiped out stock market gains for the year. Our chief business correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with more on what this means. Good morning, Rebecca.
That's right, George. And what it means is if you have a retirement savings account, it is back where it started the year, frankly, back where it ended 2017 as the Dow wiped out all of the gains for 2018 yesterday when it fell 551 points. Some of the weakest stocks today are those tech names, companies like Apple, which most of you, even if you've never bought a share of Apple, own in your 401k because it's one of the most widely held stocks. And even though the economy in the U.S. is strong, even though unemployment is at its lowest rate since 1969 and wages are rising, the forward-looking view on Wall Street is looking weaker as far as interest rates go. They're climbing, and the trade dispute with China, George.
Okay, Rebecca, thanks very much, Robin.
George, now we have the investigation that is underway into a deadly highway incident. A driver killed after his car was hit by a concrete slab thrown from an overpass. Now police are searching for the person who did that. Alex Perez has that story for us. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Robin. Authorities say they know this was not a freak accident because that concrete slab did not match the concrete on the overpass. They say it came from somewhere else. This morning, an urgent manhunt underway in Tennessee for a suspect police say threw this chunk of concrete off an overpass in the early morning hours Tuesday. According to police, that concrete smashing through the windshield of this car, instantly killing 54-year-old Joe Shelton. His car careened into a pickup truck and then a guardrail before coming to a stop.
The world is such a bad place right now. People do things without thinking of the consequences.
Investigators are calling it an intentional act and scouring surveillance footage for any sign of a possible suspect. This is just the latest in a series of overpass tragedies. Last summer, 5 teens were arrested after they threw rocks off an overpass on I-75 in Michigan, striking and killing 32-year-old Kenny White, who was a passenger in a van.
I just put out of the bridge and something hit my car.
Also in 2017, 4 teens pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter after they threw a sandbag off an overpass, smashing into a car below, killing passenger Marquise Bird. And authorities are hoping any drivers who may have seen something suspicious that morning will now contact police. Michael?
All right, thank you so much. And now to that holiday shopping alert. Experts say this year you get the best deals if you buy early and don't wait. Our consumer correspondent, Becky Worley, has all the details. Good morning, Becky.
Good morning, Michael. What's new? Some eye-popping technology, fewer retail options, and the enduring truth that being well-informed is often the difference between a screaming deal and a dud.
In years past, we told you to wait on buying toys to scoop up hot last-minute deals. But strategy tip, this year, toy buying is going to be different.
This used to be our local Toys R Us, not anymore. This holiday season will be the first one without a major toy chain in play, and we don't know how that's going to affect pricing and the availability of hot toys.
According to research from marketing company Criterio, 78% of shoppers who plan to shop in a physical store say they'll head to Walmart or Target, but they have a fraction of the toys that Toys R Us had. Amazon will pick up a lot of the slack online, but experts say don't wait too long.
If you really want your children to be able to pick something out that's really special to them, then maybe it is worth going to the stores.
Now tech, there isn't one big breakout gift, but for TV fans, new OLED technology has them drooling. And this is the first year they're even remotely affordable.
OLED is a technology that produces blacker blacks and sharper colors.
3 years ago, a 55-inch OLED was $3,400, but this year we're seeing prices as low as $1,299 for the same size. That's $2,100 cheaper. Look for budget TVs to have the best prices on Thanksgiving, but mid-range and high-end TVs see the biggest discounts on Cyber Monday.
The biggest takeaway is the best deals come very soon. That's because, a little inside baseball here, manufacturers say the cost of making products is going up, rising wages, the threat of tariffs, and they are not incentivized to eat into their margin as they go closer to the Christmas holidays. So the best discounts, guys, will come in the next 6 days.
Good to keep in mind, Becky. Thank you.
Get busy.
Yeah.
Ginger's in from the cold. Let's go back to her.
Yeah, and as much as the cold will make headlines, fortunately there's not a big storm, but there's enough of the snow to talk about. Erie, Pennsylvania, 3 inches, and you have cars sliding off the roads. Today we've got winter weather advisories that include Buffalo and Watertown, 2 to 4 inches overall, but with a 40-mile-per-hour gust, it'll be pretty rough. Dry for a lot of other folks. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, the Sunny Cities, sponsored by Target.
Find a song, and sing it round, 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 and with ties so strong that your hearts are bound. Hold them near, the ones you found, for you know that this is really love. And your head goes spinning round, round, 'cause you found what you've been dreaming of. Yeah, you know that this is really love.
Dry conditions expected for travel today. Your next chance of rain not until Saturday, and that rain will develop during the late morning. So today, traveling 50 degrees with sunshine. Very cold starting out early tomorrow morning, sub-freezing temperatures, and only 35 degrees on Thanksgiving Day, possibly the coldest Thanksgiving in more than 20 years. Your Black Friday for shopping, 39 the high. Finally, temperatures come up just in time for the next weather maker that will bring rain to the area on Saturday.
Coming up, that mystery mansion fire. 4 family members found dead in an exclusive neighborhood in New Jersey. The urgent investigation going on right now.
Tiger Woods' Phil Mickelson about to go head-to-head epic showdown. $9 million on the line. Their interview right here first on GMA.